Well, welcome back to Pastor Plek's podcast. I am your host, Pastor Plek, and with me in studio is one and only Mrs. Catie Sas. Catie, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
How's that cookie?
Delicious.
So we have our live studio audience actually brought us cookies this morning, and we're pretty excited about that. I think I may have eaten 4 or 5 of them. And how many did you get?
I only got 1 because you freaking ate 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Not sorry, though, but it was really good, and I really enjoyed it.
A chocolate chip cookie for breakfast is really, I think it's amazing. It's amazing.
It is amazing. Before we get into the real reason we're here, you were just telling me that you met your husband's, is it high school crush?
High school and college.
Oh, wow.
So they dated like his first year of college then broke up.
All right. Ooh, man.
Okay. It's kind of an amazing story.
Oh, tell us the amazing story.
Well, actually, it's so funny because it connects to your sermon from yesterday.
Okay, hit me.
So, okay. I've never really cared about Ryan's ex-girlfriends. I mean, I know everyone has exes, so, whatever. But I've never, looked them up on Facebook. I've just never, I don't know, just never occurred to me to,
Never stalked them.
Yeah. So we find out that her daughters go to the same school as Ava. And so then after that,
Well, how'd you find that out?
So her and Debbie are Facebook friends.
Your mother-in-law.
Yes. And so Debbie told us, hey, I think I'm not going to say her name, but I just met her. I don't want to make her feel totally uncomfortable if by some miracle she hears this podcast.
This is a world famous podcast. So.
Oh my gosh. Well, so she tells us, hey, I think her daughters go to this school. So after I looked her up on Facebook and I noticed, oh my gosh, yeah, she does. So I've kind of been building up okay, what do I say to her? Because I want to be her friend. This is such a funny thing. I don't find it weird at all.
Not weird at all.
No. I think, oh my gosh, so fun. I want to say hi and meet a girl that used to date my husband. I just don't think it's awkward.
No.
And so I walk it, and it's just funny because it's so sweet.
So you could be like, Ryan, I remember those days. I mean, what are you going to say?
We actually connected on how type A he is. That's the most hilarious thing.
Was she a type A person or type B person?
I don't know. We didn't really talk about her that much. We talked about Ryan and we talked about birth. We just dove right in to labor and delivery.
So you went into private things. Yeah.
Oh yeah. We talked about bowel movements. I mean, it was the awkward conversation of my dreams. And so here's what I did. I walked up.
So you and her are like 2 peas in a pod.
I would actually hang out with her.
Oh, okay.
She seems really cool.
Yeah.
And so I walk up to her and I was like, hi, I have been meaning to say hi to you. I'm Catie Sas. And I said, your name's Corrine, right? And oh shoot, I just said her name. Well, anyways, she goes, yeah, hi. And and she kind of is still looking at me confused, how do you know who I am? And I don't know why I assumed that she might already know who I am.
Well, you are pretty famous.
Yeah, podcast land. So I made that mistake of introducing myself thinking, I think she might know that I'm Ryan's wife. But she didn't.
Well, Sass is not exactly a common name.
Right. And it's there are things that we've signed up for where you see the parents' names. Mm-hmm. And so I just thought, I don't know, maybe she made the connection. And then her and Debbie are Facebook friends, but I think it just startled her. So she goes,
I'm Ryan Sass's wife. And she was like,
she goes, oh, that's so weird. And I was and I'm thinking but it's not that weird.
It is kind of weird.
But I didn't want to make her feel awkward even more than I have just done. And so I go, yeah, oh my gosh, it's totally weird, right? Even though I was like,
wait, but
I just walked up, introduced myself, assuming wrongly that she knew who I was.
Well, she's been tracking with Ryan's life, clearly.
Well, I don't know. And so
what old boyfriends are you tracking right now?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, do you know if any of your old boyfriends got married?
Yeah.
Well, oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Well, I mean, we're like 30, you know, in our 30s, like surely. Well, so okay. Anyways, she kind of is. I can tell she is so uncomfortable for like the first 2 or 3 minutes because she keeps everything that I say, literally anything that I say. She's like, "Wow, that's so weird. Oh my gosh, this is so weird," and I'm like thinking,
Am I that weird?
like, but I thrive in these. Like,
Like, come alive.
I love these situations so much. And so I'm wanting her to love this as much as I am. And I
Oh.
can tell that, like,
And you're
she's
just
kind of
doubling down.
not.
You're
Like,
doubling, tripling down on this?
yeah,
On the
because
weirdness?
I'm like, I want to be her
We
friend.
need to go do evangelism together at some point because I have a hard time in those weird situations. And then if you would just linger in the awkwardness of like, what's the state of your soul?
Well, yesterday when you were like, you don't start with like, what are your deepest sin struggles? I was like, why? I find that very helpful
And very
in
connecting.
deepening a relationship. And obviously, you don't ask everyone that. You can tell right off the bat
If they're
someone's
weirdy or not.
uncomfortable, and you kind of go, "Oh, well, that's probably not what they were expecting." But anyways, we talked for like 30 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, we talked for
At
like
the
30
school.
minutes in the parking lot.
Yeah, good for you.
And what's funny is Joseph actually runs up behind me and scares me.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, "Is this like? Should I have let some like man run up and like?" Because she didn't know who he was, and he's just this guy that comes up and like pokes me in the back, and I'm like, ah, like freaked out. And then I introduced them, and I kid you not, Chris, in my head, I had to go, do not introduce her as Ryan's ex-girlfriend. Do not.
Hey, this is Ryan's ex-girlfriend.
In my head, I had to verbally
That was great
tell
verbal discipline.
myself, do not say, this is Ryan's ex-girlfriend.
I won.
I got him, ha. You know, it's just like, so I just had to be like, oh yeah, she says she goes to City View and like y'all should meet and whatever. And Joseph's like, oh, that's awesome. Like, and so then we walk away because I realized, oh shoot, it's like 9:30. I need to go.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, this just happened this morning?
Yeah, it's my funny story of the morning.
I thought, wow. You know, I love hot off the press with Katie's life.
It was just it was great. Like, I really enjoyed it. And I text Ryan after and I said, hey, I just talked to her for like 30 minutes. She seems really great.
And what did Ryan say?
He hasn't texted back yet. He's really still processing his response. And he knows that I
are weird.
am just he knows I'm a weirdo, and he's probably thinking, "Oh my god, like what did she say?"
I would have loved it. I wish I could have been there on that one if you said, "And this is Ryan's ex-girlfriend."
And then I would have
And then
instantly
Joseph would have
wanted
been
to like put my foot in my mouth, like the things I have to tell myself to not say.
Oh.
It's incredible.
All right, so I do want to talk about what we talked about on Sunday, which was this. Essentially, it's just this, really, of like how to make friends. Yeah, yeah, and really, all you need to do is hang out with Katie, and you are gonna get through all the awkward phases within about the first 1 minute, and then you can just like, I'll take it from here, Katie, and then Katie can just go on to the next person, and be like, and we can just talk about you and how weird that is, and then we can move from that small talk, talking about how weird you are.
It's just a thrilling situation.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so anyway, what we talked about on Sunday is that we don't know how to go from acquaintances to friends. Would you? Would you consider? would you consider Kareen a friend now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so she's legit friend.
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah.
We talked about labor and delivery. Like, you can't talk about your babies coming out.
Transparency. She knew, and I guess you guys had a shared base of knowledge with Ryan. You did talk about Ryan.
Yeah, we bonded about his type anus.
Yeah, and then that's transparency. You both have like you had issues, or not issues, you had experiences that were very similar, and you were transparent about your thoughts about them. And then labor and delivery does not get much more intimate.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, so what we talked about, for those who aren't good at making friends, because clearly, Katie, you have a gift. I don't know if you realize that.
I don't think that means that I, like, am good at making friends. I think that sometimes means that I can run people away. Like, Corrine might not think that I'm a friend. She
Ooh.
might have walked away going, that was a little bit weird
Or
for me.
that she might think of you as an acquaintance, whereas you think of her as a
Yes.
friend.
I'm like, yeah, we've already like crossed off all these boxes. Like, we're friends now. But that's
All right, so can we next week? I need a report back on if you've gotten a coffee date with Corinne yet.
yes.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
That would be kind of like your assignment.
My
All right.
homework.
All right. So what we talked about is that we have trouble making friends because we're not transparent, like Mrs. Catie Sas, who is the ultimately best transparent person on the entire planet. Like you rival my wife. My wife is like, you and her are like neck and neck. For
Yeah, I can see her doing that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And well, I think one of her ex-boyfriends, one of her ex-boyfriends walked into Lifetime. Oh. At the gym. Oh, it was great.
Oh, perfect.
His name's Mike.
Oh.
And he's a fireman.
Mike the fireman? What a strong
And
combo.
he has a sweet handlebar mustache. I mean, it's like golden.
Were you a little bit jealous?
Of the mustache? Absolutely. I wish I could have that. But he walked up to her dad, like shook his hand, and then like gave her a side hug, and I like waved to him. Then he head off to do his own thing.
You didn't even go up and introduce yourself?
I was just
had you
like,
never met him before?
I maybe had, but I didn't recognize him, so I didn't really know what was happening. And then, I just gave him a wave. I was on the other side of the pickleball court, so we were having an intense. I was partnered with Adrian's mom, and she was with her dad, and so we were.
So funny.
Yeah, it was funny. All right, so anyway, what we talked about on Sunday was how we need to move from acquaintance to friend, and it's hard. And the way that you do it is you have proximity, which that makes you just a stranger. Proximity plus time makes you an acquaintance. Proximity plus time plus transparency makes a friend, which clearly you established that. And then what we talked about is moving in your friendships, you're always going to be moving from small talk to public things, to personal things, and then to private things. Unless you're Katie, you go straight to the private things, and you start talking about bowel movements during birth. And so what you're trying to do, though, anytime you meet someone, you're going from I want to be admired to I want to be known. Mm-hmm. And I think that is where a lot of us struggle. And I think you would probably say you'd struggle with this because you want people to admire you, but you also want them to know you. Mm-hmm. And this is why I've always said never meet your heroes because your admiration will go because you'll go, oh, they're just a regular person. So talk to me, Katie, and this I would love to hear from your perspective because I feel like you are interacting with new people, moving acquaintance to friends all the time. How do you wrestle with the desire to be admired? Because I don't think you'd say like I don't want to be admired. Right.
Who doesn't want to be?
Right. And then with the being known, because you're gonna have with an acquaintance, I will share something that will make you admire me, or I'll share something that will make you know me. And how do you know the difference? And do you even weigh that in, or you just start going for it?
I just go for it. I think there is the struggle of balancing the fear of rejection because I've been rejected by people often,
right?
Because not a lot of people appreciate how deeply I don't know, is deeply the word?
Yeah.
But like how deep I want to go in a friendship.
That's
because
why
once I've decided,
digging,
I really did think that this is a great graphic because you have to dig.
Let me see if I can show this graphic here
into these levels. But, like, not everyone is into that. And if I'm going to be close to you, if we're going to be close friends, like, if I've decided we're going to be friends, mm-hmm. that depth has to be reciprocated.
Right.
And there is the fear that, there are kind of deep, dark, sinful secrets about me that I don't want to share. And if I do share them, it might be a lot, or it might be judged, or it might be criticized, or like, I don't know, this is not my thing. This is not you're not the friend for me. Right. And that does hurt.
Right.
And so, like, Ryan also struggles with this in a different way, where like he will just not go deeper with someone. Like he has a fear of being known and rejected.
Right. So we're always wrestling with this desire to be admired, with this desire to be known. And I think taking from small talk, public things, you can be admired for, you know, small talk, you're usually talking about how bad something else is or how great something is, and your opinion, you're wanting your opinion to reflect something really good about you. And so you say something smart or wise or opinionated, and people sort of like are drawn to that. Public things, you know, family, occupation, recreation, stuff you post on Facebook, those are stuff that you might talk about. But when you start to get to personal things, I feel like this is where a lot of us struggle. And this is where good question asking, as well as being willing to initiate sharing. Because I think what happens for some of us, we are just afraid that nobody cares.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if you're extroverted, you don't care that nobody cares. You're just talking because you're thinking. And if you're introverted, and if you're introverted, you're really weighing out, should I say this? Should I say this? Or so here's some questions that I that might help some of our introverts that don't do well at sharing personal things. Like, for example, asking, what's your biggest goal right now? So here, I'll ask you, what's your biggest goal right now?
I don't think I have one.
Like, you don't do goals?
I just don't really think about that stuff.
Okay, fair enough. What are you learning anything right now?
Oh, I'm learning how to be a better mom.
Oh, okay. So would you have a goal to be a better mom?
To try to lose it less.
How do you lose it?
How do you not lose it?
Fair enough. Like, when you say lose it, what do you mean? Like
I mean, like, get physical and, like, aggressive with my kid.
And then, like, start screaming.
Screaming and yanking and pulling and all that stuff.
Yeah, so I feel like when we have that conversation, we're already into personal things. And so that's the direction. Now, somebody like Katie, like I said, she's a gift because she instantly goes there. But drawing that out of somebody is important. How about this one? Is there a character that's most like you in book, movie? Like, if you were to pick one, what would it be?
Okay, this is gonna be a little embarrassing, but do y'all know Modern Family?
Yeah.
Do you watch Modern Family?
I've seen it.
I'm Cam. You're laughing because you know who Cam is.
Okay, so why? Explain for our live studio audience why Cam.
Cam is the extravagant gay guy that is emotional and wants to love everyone, wants everyone to feel loved and to feel their best. And he is a little much sometimes. And I know I'm a little much sometimes.
Yeah, you are. But that's what makes you, and that's why I love being here with you, because you make the show easy, primarily because you're so open and you're wanting everyone to have a good time. And that's why you keep it not being boring. Okay. So one of the things that for non-Katie people, the other thing that you might want to ask is why or how do you feel the most misunderstood? Like, that's a question that if you want to go deep, you're going to be able to kind of get there. But that, I wouldn't advise that question maybe with Corrine, the very first. Corrine, how do you feel misunderstood? And, you know, she would be like,
they're kind of like not natural questions.
Right.
Like, these are good ideas to kind of bounce off of, but, like, I feel like they don't really fit into, like, a flow of conversation.
So, yeah, I think what's important, though, is that you're not going to have these conversations with, like, someone you just met. So the acquaintance conversations that get you to friendship are going to be like, hey, what's your family like? What do you do for a living? What do you like to do for fun? And then when you can get personal, like, you have any goals? You learn anything? What characters most like you? That allows you to get. But when you go to private stuff, that's like you've known each other for a while, and you're getting to catch up, and you're having coffee or lunch or whatever, and you say, hey, let's talk about some deeper. You're asking permission to go deeper. Okay, so. Landed the plane on that. Go ahead.
Well, no. But the key is to know that everyone has issues. Like, literally everyone, no matter how perfect they might portray their life to be, like, everyone has issues and everyone has insecurities. I don't care how pretty you might be. I don't care how fun. I don't care how, like, I do not care. You have issues.
Okay.
Everyone has this worry of, like, not being loved. Everyone has struggles. And so once you get to them, then your friendship is so much deeper.
Mm-hmm. No, that's good.
And so don't worry about sharing your dirty laundry, because they have dirty laundry too, even if they don't want to share it. And maybe you sharing your dirty laundry will encourage them to share their dirty laundry. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
you being open gives them the space to be
So
open
how do
to.
you know when it's time to be open?
There's always a time to be open.
I mean, at what point in the relationship do you move, all right, here's the line of openness and I'm about ready to go cross the line here?
Always.
My suggestion would be you want to go with a level that you're comfortable with or how much trust you have in that person. Because, like, if you've just met somebody and you start sharing intimate details, they're going to think you share that with everybody. And so you don't want to just share intimate details with everybody because then they feel like
it's less special.
It's less special. Yeah. And what happens is, here's the reality of what happens. They think they're a really good friend to you, and you think they're just another person that you talk to. And because when we don't have a filter in our lives, people assume relationship because who else would share their most, like, there must have been really something special about me that Corrine saw in my life or whatever that I now shared that. Now we're talking about birth. And
I make that mistake a lot.
And so does that ever come back to bite you?
Yeah, I mean, there are times where, like, I have shared something really intimate with someone and they didn't reciprocate.
Okay, so at least at that point you kind of...
And it stings. It really sucks.
So it only hurt you. Did it ever, like, it hurt them, for example, they thought they were better friends with you than they were, and they reached out because they were thinking they're going to be hanging out again, and all of a sudden you were like, ooh, I'm kind of busy.
Maybe.
Yeah, okay. I think that's probably the greater, I don't want to say weakness, but when you go unfiltered, what generally happens in guys do this with girls they're dating all the time, or probably both ways, is that they'll share something deeper or more intimate, not knowing that the person feels like, because you shared that with me, we must have something going on. And that happens a lot in the dating world. So if you're single, that's why you keep, when you go one-on-one, what ends up happening on a date is you go really deep, and if that wasn't defined that it is a date and you're just like hanging out as friends, then all of a sudden someone's gone like down the deep zone and you just had this great conversation and talk, and next thing you know you just shared your whole heart, and now you feel exposed and in a sense naked from emotionally. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but get used to that because you want...
But do you want to do that with everybody? And I think this is where...
Well, okay, not with everyone, but if the people that you've decided... I want our friendship to deepen.
Right. But what if you don't know? I mean, I think that's the part where when people are dating...
You're not going to know unless you try.
Sure, but I think you can probably, like, hey, we're going to talk small talk, phase 1. We're going to talk about public things, phase 2.
Common interests.
Personal things, phase 3. Private things, phase 4.
Like, I think public things can be common interests. So...
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So, like, once you kind of find... something that you both kind of enjoy, then you can expand off of that. And then naturally in a conversation, more things are going to come up.
Fair enough. I'm agreeing with you. It's just, I think what happens for some of us, at least in the dating relationships I'm sort of in the periphery of, I think what happens is personal and private things get shared immediately in dating relationships. And so they assume a level of relationship that's not actually there yet. And then, not that they're married in their head yet, although that does happen. It's just that they think, oh, this guy's into me, when he was just like saying, he was just sharing something. Make sense?
Yeah, yes.
I mean, did you ever experience that as a single person? Like, guys just sharing stuff, and then all of a sudden you thought, oh, he must be really into me. He shared all that. Yeah. Okay. That's free advice for all our single people out there. Okay, here we go. Here's a question that we have. What do you do when people walk out of all your spheres of influence, like to a different church, and still want you to reach out to them and hang out on a regular basis to maintain some sort of friendship? There are a few people in my life like that. I feel like it's impolite to tell them I don't have time for them, but that's how I feel. How do I communicate that to them in a loving way? What do you think, Katie?
I think that whenever you move to a different church, it's important that whenever you're in a church, it's important for you to be heavily involved and prioritize your church family.
Right. Not
that they become less important because they go to a different church, but I think that if they're mature enough, then they can understand.
Yeah. And also, it's weird.
That happens a lot.
So I kind of, and I don't know if this is true, but this sounds like a ministry friend versus a family friend. So it sounds like this person felt obligated to hang out with this whoever. Let's say we'll call it Church A person. We'll call it Wells Branch. And the person asked questions at Wells Branch, and the other person went to City View. Let's just call it that. And so, all right, so you're at City View now. You're going to have a whole network of relationships you're responsible for building. And if it doesn't come natural to go and have a friendship from Wells Branch to City View, then that person wasn't actually a friend. Man, it sounds terrible. It probably means that person wasn't like a family friend. And I always call a family friend like where relationship goes both ways. Where like I talk to you, you talk to me. You don't need a church to do that. Because I have lots of friends that don't go to our church that I'm still friends with, and I make time for, and I don't have to I don't have to sit there and feel obligated or like, I mean, I meet with other pastors all the time, and they don't go to our church. I meet with people that mentor me, and they don't go to my church, and because it's a two-way relationship with those people, where I really enjoy them. So what it sounds like is that this person is a ministry person for you, and that they need to get ministered to by the church that they're at, or else they're not going to fully get plugged into the family experience that they need at the church they're at.
Yeah, I mean, I guess a tangible example would be, so the Fosters just went to Hutto. Right. And Katie and I have been best friends for years. But I know that since they're at another church, our friendship is going to look different. We're still close.
Yeah.
I still call her and tell her funny stories. Like, we still talk. But I know that she needs to invest in the church body that she's in.
Right.
And she needs to develop relationships, and she needs to invest and feel invested in. And so if I am calling her and being like, hey, let's hang out all the time, whenever she says no, I've got this thing going on, or I go, yeah, that's great. Like, I'm excited for her when she's like getting involved and making friends, because that was a big thing for her when she first started going to Hutto. It's like, I want to make friends.
Right.
Like, starting from scratch, literally having to make new friends.
And if you're maintaining your old relationships, it's very difficult to make new friends because your time is limited. And so anytime you give one place, you can't give it at the other place. And so I do feel like, man.
Maybe there's some differences in levels of maturity.
Yeah, I do feel like this is probably a ministry friend that probably needed the counsel of the person that asked the question. And so to communicate that in a loving way is that you need to gain counsel, and you need a friend like me at the church you're going to, because that's, at the church you're going to, that there's going to be that there. Okay. All right. Next question. As a highly intentional person, this Sunday message was very appreciated. Question: do you prefer to have a lot of relationships that are shallow, or a small number of relationships that are deep? Now, all people do not receive equal share of your time. How do you choose to prioritize your time with people? What do you think?
I'm going to hear you talk first.
Okay, so you start with the people that, if you could create circles, and Adrienne does a really good job of this, and I wish, we might have to see if we can get her on, because she laid out, Cindy Hawks was one of her mentors, pastor's wife over at Hill Country Bible Church, and so what she laid out for Adrienne was like concentric circles, and like the first circle was like your family, and so those people should get the biggest part of your time. And then the circles went out, like close friends, accountability partners, discipleship relationships. Okay. Then the next circle was, friends that were not those things. But then the one things that was sort of like towards the center was lost people, or people you were trying to build relationship to lead them to faith. And then it would just go out from there. And so for me personally, it goes, where does my time go? It goes to my family. Then it goes to the elder board. And then it goes to elders and staff, probably equally. Elders and staff. And then it goes to my discipleship group. And then it goes to my community group. And then I try to incorporate people that I'm wanting to lead to Jesus within my community group. But if they're not, then I have to make intentional time beyond that. But the people outside of my community group, they don't get I don't answer the phone for them. like people in my community group, I just, they call and I answer, or they text and I respond back. People outside, I gotta weigh the time, because if I answer the phone call of my community group person,
You have to be all in.
I have to be all in, and I'm saying no to my family, right?
Yeah.
So with the people that are outside the community group, I kind of say, hey, so let's set up an appointment. Let's meet for a one-off kind of a deal. All right. So what about you? How do you sort of prioritize?
So this is where I will say it is so much easier to deepen relationships as a single young adult.
Yes.
Because when you have no other ties, you can say yes to whoever you want. You can hang out with whoever at whatever time.
Right.
I mean, obviously you have a job, not that single people don't have literally any ties, but like when you're married, it's still easy. I mean, you just have to go, hey, I'm going to go hang out with so-and-so, and then it's not really a big deal.
Right.
But then when you have a kid, then and it's hard because, like, there are single girls like Nicole Troop, like, that I would love to hang out with.
Nicole Troop is one of the most amazing single girls you'll ever meet.
But it's hard for a mom of a toddler and a single girl to, like, sync up schedules.
Right.
And so that's when
and also because you can't really do a play date.
Yes.
Because a single person doesn't understand how your kid keeps grabbing your leg, your knee, and you have to constantly go, like, hold on, hold on, hold on.
Or your kid is about to, like, fall off the playscape, or is hitting someone. So, like,
it's not single people don't understand parenting friends.
And which is understandable.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to understand. And so that's what moms do, play dates, not because they're like, we love going to the park, but it's because that's when the kids play and the moms sit and talk.
Right.
Like, that is our way of having a friendship. And so, but then, like, if you want to hang out without the kids, then you have to juggle, okay, hey, babe, when are you free so that you can stay home with the kids? And I can go, and, and then whenever you have multiple kids, it gets even harder. So I think as a mom, I mean, I can't really speak for, like, the general vicinity, but I think for me, how I prioritize the people that I really invest in are, one, evangelism opportunities. So, like, my friend Amber, I have still kept up with her, even though her son passed away, and so now our friendship has changed from play dates to now I have to prioritize time with her. Like, I have to create space to spend time with her, because our friendship started with play dates.
Right.
Now I don't want to invite her to the park to hang out with me and Ava. And so now I prioritize, okay, we're going to go to the gym where I can put Ava in childcare, or
Does Amber go to Lifetime?
She's not a member, but we're going to
guest pastor.
Oh yeah. So we're going to hang out on Wednesday. So Ava is in school now, which makes it a lot easier. Like, I know she wouldn't mind hanging out with me and Ava, but, like,
oh, it'd be so traumatic.
I think I want to be considerate of things that might trigger.
Oh,
not that she doesn't, like, think about her son all the time, but, like, I just want to be considerate of that, because there are going to be moments that she's going to see me experience with Ava and go, wow, I wish I could, have that with my son. And so, like, I have to create space for her, because the things that you care about, you're going to make time for. And then other moms, it's a lot easier to hang out with moms, because it's just, we're in the same season of life. We can go to a park, a play date. It's easier to schedule things with your kids. And then second, I don't really know. I don't know that I have a real process. I think.
So how about this? I'll give you everyone a little helpful hint on this. Jesus, right? Let's go back to Jesus, right? So he had the three. That was his private friends, Peter, James, and John. Then he had the 12. Those were his personal people. And then he had the 72. That was his, what did I say? Public, yeah. So private personal, public. So you've got the 3, the 12, the 72, and then the crowds. And so I feel like that's a good way to, if you want to start somewhere with sort of prioritizing people, find the inner 3, which is probably your family, find the 12, those are going to be your close friends that you're going to spend time with primarily, and you want to do ministry alongside them. And then you're going to have the people of the 72. And that, I just call it private, personal, public space or public people. Okay.
Well, to answer that,
yeah.
One of those questions is, would you rather have multiple, what was it?
A lot of relationships that are shallow or a small number of relationships that are deep?
Small that are deep.
Right.
I thrive off of, everyone thrives off of deep relationships.
Yeah, exactly. But that doesn't mean you don't meet new people, clearly.
Right, yeah.
Because you're sharing birthing stories with someone you just met.
Yeah.
So how do they know the difference? I think that's the part for me that's difficult.
I think of it as a pyramid. So when I was in therapy, we talked about a pyramid of your life.
Yeah.
Like a pyramid of people in your life. And so top tier is smallest. So obviously your family. And then a lot of what you were talking about with the circles. And so I think what would be helpful is for this, I don't know that this is what they're necessarily asking. How do you choose to prioritize your time with people? So maybe writing out, like, really though, draw a pyramid and have like 5 different levels.
Yeah.
And put names in them.
Yeah, so that Adrienne does this really, like, I'll need to have her on here. She does she's done this, and she has all her people in circles, and
like these are the people.
It's really clear.
Like the people that are in the first half are your family, but then the second one these are the people that know you to your core.
Right.
And then everyone else can, like, those are the most important ones. And once you determine those, then it's easier to determine the last 3.
Yeah. Okay, so then the last question, based on levels of friendship you laid out in the sermon, where does friendship with your spouse land? Well, clearly that's in the private. That's in the most inner circle.
Where you're loved and admired.
Yeah, loved, admired, fully known and loved by you. Little Torn Wells. In Genesis 2:24, they were naked and unashamed. They were fully known, and there was 0 shame, so fully admired. And I think that's where we want to be with our spouse. And I don't know, at times that can be challenging because, we're sinners. All right, so I feel like that's going to wrap it up. Any other thoughts for this particular episode? Did you know this is episode 150?
Wow.
Yeah, episode 150.
So fun.
All of our fans out there in podcast land, we thank you for listening and downloading. We've crested 10,000 downloads, and we've now reached 150 podcast episodes.
That's really fun. I'm so proud of us.
Yeah, look at us. All right, so if you have any questions, you can text at 737-231-0605 or go to pastorplek.com and leave a message for us. We would love to interact with you there. And so from our house to yours, go ahead and have an awesome week of worship.